sustainability is minding your own business. Put your effort where your mouth is, which is your operation, your business. And talking about advertising, and when here we are, this is advertising. We're not going to talk about the clients, but well, of course, if you're a client, you got to put your effort in your mouth, where your mouth is also. But talking about the agencies, where is it? What is the main operation of an agency? Well, if you're a creative agency, the main operation of an agency is to communicate. So what is the pollution you do, the risk of pollution? What is the footprint of the message? What is the footprint of what you are producing? And that's why I call the mind print. I mean, because it goes right away to right to the mind of the people. Now, of course, if you are a media, you have a responsibility also. I mean, you have a responsibility to be transparent. You have a responsibility. Well, look at today. Look at the influencers. That's a big issue. Now we've got to make sure we use influencer in an ethical way, in a responsible way, in a sustainable way, and so in every sector, being creative, media, production, data and tech, put our effort where our mouth is.
Well, this is a very expert talk, and I know someone who's also an expert and found you, Hervé, quite a while ago to head the CSR and now sustainability role at the IAA, and she is convinced that it is the way to go, and she's walking the talk, and that's Dag. Hi, Dag.
Hello everyone.
Dag, you are so with the IAA, which is a huge association, a huge power all around the world. You have chapters everywhere. You're going to tell us how many chapters you have. You are celebrating your 85th anniversary, so you are an old lady.
Yes, unfortunately.
You are an old lady.
Like that.
Even if you look very young.
A wise lady, right?
Hopefully.
So tell us about how the IAA Global really embraced this new challenge, not new, but this challenge, and has been embracing it for quite a while now.
Thank you so much. And first of all, for some of the audiences who can't really see the whole space, this is a really iconic moment to be here with you, because for the second time, we are opening the doors of Cannes Lions to the public. We are democratizing for 2 hours the Cannes experience to the public. And why? Because people want to be part of this industry. People, I think technology has this power, people to have a voice, and we can't ignore those voices. And sustainability is one of the really pieces of content that they want to talk about. So what we are creating here is really addressing the needs of the public, and congratulations to Act Responsible. But coming from the IA's perspective, for the last 85 years, we've been acting as the global compass for the industry, and we cannot ignore sustainability being one of the most important topics. So 3 years ago, we started the Sustainability Council, where we've decided to act as the global compass for the industry, and we are doing this in 3 ways. Number one, we are educating the whole industry about the main initiatives happening in the industry. Sustainability is a very complex topic, and a lot of industry players don't know how to get involved, and they don't know how to drive change. So we have aggregated all of the greatest initiatives in the industry, and we are educating the industry how to get involved, number one. Number two, we are creating global standards for the industry. So this year in Davos, and actually today with the CMO Council, we are launching the Sustainability Index, which is our largest global study across engaging 150,000 consumers across 36 countries, across 4,500 brands, to show how consumers are rating the most sustainable brands, and to show how sustainability is increasingly playing a role in brand valuation. And even some of the highest value brands, they cannot ignore sustainability, because they actually have the highest amount of value at risk if they don't pay attention to sustainability. And finally, we're also partnering with some other partners to show the industry how they can get engaged. So Sacred Groves is one of those initiatives where we are helping companies from the industry convert junk to jungle. So basically, it's a very simple idea where you can donate your hardware to purchase forests from governments. So everybody can have a whole portfolio of different initiatives and can play a part.
Thank you very much, Dag. There's so many things, and also coming up next year, there's this huge gathering in Malaysia, Malaysia, in Penang, in a very inspiring space that you chose also because it is inspiring. Do you want to tell us more about the World Congress?
Absolutely. So in our 85-year history, we've had 44 World Congresses, and our 45th World Congress was chosen differently and very carefully. So during the bidding process, sustainability was a big part of it. And we ended up choosing Penang in Malaysia because the government, or the state government in Penang, was committed to sustainability much more so than others. So Penang was announced to be the new place for the Congress, and we are inviting the whole industry to come and experience the IA's World Congress with the theme of Brand Recode, where we are going to set a new standard for the industry about how to build high-value brands with sustainability being part of the biggest ingredients of this new recipe.
And it's also, I know that it's also a UNESCO site.
Yes, Penang is also a UNESCO site, and this was one of the... Yes.
Well, thank you for it. So you're inviting everyone.
I'm inviting everybody, yes.
Everyone, you can go on the IAA Global website and find...
learn more about the Congress, but also for the next 3 days, everybody can learn more about the Congress here inside the Sustainability Hall.
Exactly.
And I love how you followed up on what Hervé said around greenwashing and how actually the Sustainable Perception Index can hopefully be a tool to sort of steer, avoid, and inform our industry to avoid greenwashing, which I think is one of the topics that we seriously need as an industry to overcome. But I want to talk to you, Christian, because evidently we talked a little bit about global, we talked about Penang. I think right now what we're seeing in our industry is that sustainability, responsibility have a different prefix depending on what country you're from. We see a lot of politicization of sustainability, for example, in the US. You're obviously heading up the EACA, and maybe you want to give a better description of what that abbreviation stands for, but also from a European perspective, where do you think responsibility and sustainability is heading, and do we see the progress that's needed in Europe?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me here. And again, congratulations to Act Responsible. I think you have pioneered, I've said that to you many times, a movement, and I'm absolutely sure that communication wouldn't be as responsible as it tries to be without people like you having created a movement, a real movement 20 years ago. To your question, what EACA stands for, that's an easy one, European Association of Communication Agencies.
Perfect.
So basically, we are the authority representing all the advertising agencies, but also all the national association. And regarding sustainability, we are trying to advocate what the industry does. We're trying to educate agencies as to what they can do, and we are taking a lot of initiatives to promote and to infiltrate sustainability. For me, the economy is something very simple. The economy, it's on one hand, manufacturers, companies, brands supplying, and on the other hand, citizens, consumers buying. And when I think about it, we are the only industry that can actually influence both. We can influence the agenda of the suppliers, the manufacturers, the brands, not only by redefining their purpose, by forcing them and engaging with them in taking very sustainable action throughout the whole marketing chain, the production chain. And of course, we can influence, it's our role, it's our primary role, the consumer and the citizen behaviors, and one influences the other. So it should be a virtuous circle. To your question about Europe, I think Europe, you know, is the worst marketer of the world because it always does much more than it says, particularly because it's a fragmented continent. I think we have pioneered responsible communication in many ways. Now, with DEI becoming very US centric, of course, we have the impression that America is ahead, but maybe we talk about that later. We have just done a global DEI study on the world. And I can tell you, Europe is really ahead in many topics in terms of acting and communicating in a responsible way.
Yeah, I would actually love to know more about the index, because I think you are very right. I think under the sort of complex hat of sustainability, there's environment, there's governments, and there's obviously diversity and inclusion, which I think is and have been a very important topic in our industry, both in terms of our own operations, our own agencies, our own colleagues, so to say, but also obviously in terms of what Hervé called the mind print, what actually does show out there in the media space. So can you talk a little bit about the work that you do with the global DEI census?
Well, it's, I believe, the biggest and most global study ever made on, I would say, DEI. We are interviewing 13,000 people from 91 countries. It's very good to talk about this subject. It's more interesting to see where we stand as an industry. It's the second time we do it, so it's interesting to compare. What struck me is that you have 72% of the population interviewed across 91 countries who said, basically, over the last 2 years, efforts have been made. You have 51% of the same people who say progress have been achieved. And in the same time, I would say DEI index is not improving. So there is still, to Hervé's point, from A to T, there is still a lot of work to be done. But I think it's very important to start with raising awareness. First of all, we are conscious that it is a very important topic. And two, we are conscious that there is still a long way to go. Interesting, this data, because DEI matters to the people working in this industry. Yeah. One in seven would walk away from the industry if they felt that DEI was not taken seriously. 1 in 7. And it's urgent to act. It's urgent to prove we act. And we just hope that the next study will continue measuring progress, but will tangibly demonstrate that it's being taken into consideration.
What I find really striking when I hear you talk about all those subjects is there's so much passion when you say, when you get to it. So can we say it's a story of passion going into sustainability? Do we need the passion to go into sustainability to pull everyone? Because as you say, we've been here for quite a while with the ACT role, and each time we take the time to meet, stop, exchange, stop yelling at each other, just exchange, collaborate. Yep. Gold 17, huh? Gold, yeah. Well, I know it now.
We talked about that yesterday as well, for those who didn't.
For the UN Sustainability Goal 17, collaboration, we are there. So I think that to walk, we need to collaborate and to really walk in the same direction. Do you want to say something about this, Dag?
I think there is certainly a story of passion, but I think most importantly what we are learning is there is a big story of compassion. We have enough, I think, successful leaders. We don't have enough compassionate leaders in the world. And I think the world and our industry will be a better place if we had more compassionate leaders. And this is, I think this is the next phase of collaboration.
I love that. I love that passion and compassion. I think it's a question of passion because you don't do it right if you don't do it with your heart. But I think it's a question of emergency also. The world is on fire, and it's not just about it. It's also about societal tension. It's about ethnical tension. It's our responsibility. It's nobody else. The world is what we are making it. It's not someone else above and beyond us. So it's urgent to act, and it's urgent that the people who can influence the agenda, and we are those people, do it, and do it now.
Lena?
Yeah, listen, I concur. I love that. It's about passion and compassion. Definitely need more compassionate leaders. And yeah, just reinforcing the point that it is about collaboration. This isn't a competitive space. Let's all collaborate, share best practice, show a way forward, share knowledge. And I think we also need to remember, in terms of greenwashing, perfection is the enemy of the good. allow people, companies to make a step. And, you know, because if you weren't born good, you need to course correct and get on that journey, because if you don't, then we're stuck. So let's get out of the glacial pace and let's move and move quick.
Communication is talking to both sides of your head. So yes, we do need passion, but yes, we also do need reason. So, you know, some people are going to be acting upon passion, some others upon reason. Both, but we need both. We need proofs, we need arguments, we need the people that decide to do it. And then when they start the process, you can't stop them. It's forever.
I absolutely agree with you, Hervé, and that's also why we have a lot of brain feed to your rational side of the brain. We have the Sustainability Perception Index. That was a tongue roller. Sustainability Perception Index. We have the DEI Consensus Compass. We have WARC here, and we have an amazing archive of some of the best work in the advertising for good space with ACT responsible. And obviously from our panelists, an urgent call from DAC to go and be a compassionate leader, Christian, a rallying cry for us to act right now. And Lena, I think you have a very good point around perfection being the enemy of good. So this was what we had to say this time from ACT Live, but we also have a surprise for you, because believe it or not only have we opened up the Palais, but with our sponsor, Microsoft, we are also opening up the Microsoft Beach for an interesting panel. So you can learn a lot more about this topic, about how we drive sustainable growth and how creativity, sustainable media, and collaboration can draw the power of purpose. So a lot more. So when you're finishing here in the ACT, in the Palais, have seen the beautiful ACT Responsible exhibition, head down to the Microsoft Beach at a 4:15.
Oh, God.
I don't know what's happening.
You're tired.
I don't know what's happening. It's only day 3?
3,
yeah.
So yeah, thank you to all panelists. It was a very interesting discussion. You are leaders, actors, you are key. You are all key to this industry to go towards sustainability. Thank you. I want also to extend my thanks to AdForum, to the IAA France, IAA Global, to the media leader, to Accor, to Euronews. Am I missing someone? The media leader, I said the media leader is broadcasting this show live, and you can see the replay, of course, of the show, and we will meet you again tomorrow at 11.
Exactly. See you at 11.
Thank you so much.